And now we're continuing that work and that legacy.
I I love that, and I agree with you that the advent of social media puts us right now in a very privileged position that a generation ago didn't have, right? I have to applaud some of the work that I've seen you do. So you mentioned dance. There's also a video that I saw you post that I was like, "Ah, that's so good." You were shooting basketballs. You're just shooting basketballs. And you were counting the numbers in the Hiwatahia Taino variant. And I was like, that is amazing. Like you have your for kinesthetic learners, you like so thinking outside of the box as well is what does like teaching Taino look like? It might just be you go out and shoot some baskets and count the numbers. It might be you're teaching someone how to dance and you're explaining the instruments behind that particular rhythm. It could be all sorts of things. I also saw you shared that beautiful picture, sorry, the beautiful video of your final project of some of your students and how some of them they were incorporating the language into teaching a workout video. Like, that's cool. Like, you're incorporating it into something you do every day, or creating a poem, or a prayer, a song, a video. So that's really giving us visibility in a variety of different ways using new technological mediums and new ways of being. Because I'm sure our ancestors didn't go around doing workout videos, but now we do. And now we can do it in a modern day variant of Taino.
I would also add that, thinking about, well, going online, so what both of you are saying is that we have to find ways, unpack things that we're already doing and think about how the language can help decolonize those things, right? Or even embedding the language in those things for visibility and even for our own personal practice and development of the language, right? So, and also things that you're interested in. So Ra makes music videos, which I'll plug in here, right? So even that, like, and that reaches out, for her, that's just her thing she loves to do, but also that reaches out to a certain audience, right? So thinking about the world we live in now and like the pop audience, people that like pop music will turn to that and say, oh, what is this language? Oh, cool, there's this music in this, right? And just for me as the bilingual educator, thinking about the spaces in which now I introduce myself in the language, right? And people are like, what is that? And just even if it takes 10 seconds, it makes a big difference for visibility, right? So I think of ways to like find the cracks, right, in our colonial dominant white institutions, right? I work at universities and it's like, where can you find those cracks for that visibility to take up that space that we very well need to take up, right? Very much need to take up. I teach teachers to welcome all of the languages in their classroom and to always inquire and make build community with families whose languages have been stigmatized for many years, like families that speak indigenous languages like Mixteco and Nahuatl, Garifuna, and all these languages that are often erased in bilingual classrooms because English and Spanish are the dominant languages, right? So now I always say, teach this term in Taino because you may not have students that speak that language at home, but you can spark that in these 8, 9-year-olds thinking about like, oh yeah, I'm Boricua or I'm Dominican, so to really think about, oh, this is a language that's alive and people are speaking it somewhere, right? So even planting those seeds and even purposefully calling the students Quisqueyano, Quisqueyane versus Dominicans, right? In a dissertation document, which has been traditionally very, traditionally academically white or very restrictive definitions of what academic language even means. So for me, those have been some examples.
Things that we haven't even dreamed about yet. We'll be able to then use that passion and include the language and the culture in that. And that's really what inspires me to keep doing this work is that, I'm doing things like working on my passion projects, but that will in turn inspire someone else, which will in turn inspire someone else. And we have no idea what 5 generations from now will look like. We could have people speaking Taino in the grocery store. We could have signs in Taino and in different areas, things that are already being done in different parts of indigenous America could be happening as well in Taino. So that's really it makes me excited to think about what we could do because of these efforts, because we're all doing it together in our own way, and together we're all working toward that same goal.
And
Um,
I think that
yeah,
that part is super important because we validate each other, and we validate each other's visions and goals. Because I think that this work can be very lonely if you don't have um, people around you who you can turn to and be inspired by, but also turn to and talk about the challenges of this kind of work. And I think it's really special um, to have people around you who have a similar mindset and goals, because otherwise you just kind of feel like you're on your own, Yeah.
you're right. Thank you for touching on that. It is a very lonely job if you think about it. So you're working on your own, you're creating a video, then you put it out there. It's very much like you have to go on faith that what you're doing is important. And maybe you'll hear from someone a few months later say, "Oh, yeah, this one touched me." And it's those little moments that keep you going because you realize, whoa, whoa, this is important. And if, one person reached out, but maybe there's so many others who maybe it sunk in, maybe it didn't, but maybe few years from now, it'll finally sink in, right? And that thing will keep playing in their heads. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the fact that I'm so grateful for um, all the people who do write, who'd say, this touched my life.